Since the word of gold had spread to the lower 48, people from all walks of life wanted a piece of the action. Now many were attracted to the thought of striking it rich, but some had other plans. Enter Michael J. Heaney. Heaney was lured to Skagway with the thought of expanding his contracting knowledge from the many experienced folks in this area. Now after hearing about the treacherous trails, he set out to complete the White Pass. And after seeing what the wild could turn into, and the possibilities a railway could give this gold-stricken land, Heaney made up his mind. A railroad must be made through these wilds. On June 15, 1898, the ground broke, and Michael Heaney became the foreman of the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad. Now the story behind the railroad's beginnings is inspiring, but I have to put a pause on that for now, because in the meantime, we'll soon be coming up to a landmark of our trip, called Black Cross Rock at milepost 10.4. Now I tell you about Heaney because this story involves him, his men, and a mystery that persists to this day. The common account goes that a blasting incident caused a huge slab of granite to tumble from the mountainside and crush two railroad workers. Now because of the size of the rock, Heaney deemed it too costly and too demanding to remove the boulder, so instead he set up a little memorial to honor the two men lost in the incident. Now the mystery comes in with the names of the two men. No historical records tell us who died, but all we have today are the words engraved on the little cross, Maurice Dunn and Alex Juneau. So to see this bizarre boulder, make sure to look about 50 feet below the train to our left side. That memorial stands directly on top of that massive, mossy boulder that we call Black Cross Rock. all these people leave the comfort of their home and come up to Skagway, Alaska for just a chance of finding gold? Well, two reasons. The first is that America was experiencing a financial depression at the time, known as the Panic of 1893, and many people were uncertain of their jobs, finances, and livelihoods. But the second was that the Klondike Gold Rush was seen as the last grand adventure of the 19th century. This once-in-a-lifetime adventure sparked a fire in people that caused the history that we have today. But like most great things, that adventure only lasted a short time, only for about 3 years. Now, since we only have a few short hours to show you the beauty of this frontier, I do want to give everyone an early heads up to one of my most favorite views. Coming up here on the left after clearing trees is Bridal Veil Falls. It's our largest waterfall in the area, and they say even the most jaded stampeder couldn't help but admire its beauty. Now, if you're using your phone camera, I highly recommend putting your phone up against the glass of the window and taking a video of the falls, as we do pass by it very shortly. Now, for folks on the right, you'll be on this side on the way back down, so don't worry, we will see this viewpoint again later on.
This is my left.
It is on left.
I know what school you went to, but...
weather for our last train of the season here for October, as you got some looming fog coming through this area. But if you look upwards to the left side where that fog is at, you might see a thin line run through the mountain. This line is no road or highway, but it is our railroad. We call it the High Line section of our track. It's about 3 miles ahead by rail and 700 feet above us from where we are now. And you'll soon start to see our famous wooden trestle bridge as well. This will lead us into our first tunnel of the day and give us some spectacular views of the entire Glacier Gorge. But this is where we are headed up to soon, so if you folks are getting a little afraid of heights, well, don't worry guys. We'll just cross that bridge when we get there. Back to our foreman of this railroad, Michael Heaney. When he surveyed this land, he recognized the challenge these coastal mountain ranges would pose for the project. To give you an idea, when men first stepped foot onto the White Pass Trail, the ledges our railroad now sits on were no longer than about 4 to 5 feet. The railroads you see back home are standard gauge tracks, and they need at least 50 to 100 feet of space to build safely. They used to say that not even an eagle could sit on the ledges here, and they had to build a train on it. Well, as Heaney was surveying in 1897, 2 British investors from London were doing the exact same thing. They assessed that a railroad was not feasible. Well, the fates aligned one night in a bar in Skagway, and Heaney met these 2 investors. The charismatic Canadian talked his dream into a reality, and after the scotch glasses had been emptied, the investors' minds had been changed. A railroad will be built through these wilds. Either it was liquid courage or Heaney's smooth talking, but it is undeniable that the beginning of this engineering feat had started with passion, determination, and grit. That perseverance was kept alive for the 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days our railroad was under construction. You heard me right, folks. It only took them 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days on the dot to complete all 110 miles of track here. station where we drop off people here. And if you do get dropped off, you can explore the beautiful Lot Glacier Trailhead. But we have no hikers on board with us, and our train is heading up the mountain soon. So we'll be taking a small bridge at the station and cross over a beautiful river landscape. So either side you look at, you get to see the fall weather here in Alaska. Afterwards, we'll start taking that curve and head up the highline section, starting to see the Glacier Gorge soon. Alrighty folks, we are just stopping here real quick. We can still use those platforms here at this time. We get to explore the beautiful Glacier Valley here. Nice stop to get to enjoy the mountains with all the snow on them. If you are inside, don't worry, you can still get up and walk around. I'll keep you updated with announcements as we move along.